I'm Leanna Pisani, and welcome to Hearts, Minds, and Mailing Lists. I am going to walk you through one of our most successful lead gen campaigns that started out as purely a behavior change campaign. I'm going to show you exactly how we met the moment, you're going to hear me say that a couple times today, and made optimizations to make a behavior change campaign, make it a behavior change campaign that also drives efficient leads. Okay, who even am I? Who's this girl up here? If you haven't met me before, again, I'm Leanna Pisani. I'm the communications manager at World Animal Protection Canada. I have somehow over 15 years of experience in digital marketing for social good. That includes social media, paid, organic, influencer marketing, lead generation and acquisition, branding, copywriting, you get the picture. So if you're interested in any of those things, come find me today. So little tidbits about me. I am motivated by big factory farming, as you can tell by my pants. Love animals, want to protect them. I know way too much about espresso and Taylor Swift. And what's trending on TikTok. I spend a lot of time scrolling TikTok. I do have a Master of Arts in online political movements, and I love weightlifting, I read a lot, and I just started doing pottery, which has been super fun. So if you do that, give me some tips, please. And of course, before I go any further, I do want to give credit to our amazing team at World Animal Protection Canada and our partners who help make our acquisition program the success that it is, including our agency partner principals. They are here today. Shout out to y'all. Thank you so much. Okay, so before we fully dive into the case study, I want to give you all some context. The ultimate goal of our lead gen program is, of course, to design and develop campaigns that help us hit both programmatic and growth goals. So with this campaign, we wanted to develop an evergreen-ish lead gen campaign that can bring in efficient leads, but again, drives our programmatic goals. The dream, am I right? That's what we're all trying to do. So our plan was to revisit a beloved but in need of some optimizations campaign that we had developed in 2022 and bring it into the future for 2025. And the goals were significantly reducing the cost per lead. We wanted to measure behavior change. We wanted donor conversion. And we're just out here trying to save animals on the planet. No biggie, right? We can do that. So let me show you how we went from a $2.11 average cost per click and over $10 average cost per lead. Again, it was a behavior change campaign. We know these numbers are, they make sense for that. But we really wanted to take it to something even better, and we've managed to get it down to $1.09 average cost per click and an under $5 average cost per lead. So I'm going to show you exactly how we did that. Okay, yeah, I'm not a gatekeeper, so let's just get into it. All right, rolling it back, we need to go back to 2022. And I know that both feels like yesterday and also kind of a lifetime ago. With everything that's changed over the last 3 years, in social media terms, it really was a lifetime ago. Back then, the messaging that was helping us start conversations was mainly around making eating less meat easier and more accessible, as well as addressing climate change. So principals developed some eye-catching creatives for us, including some incredible stop motion style videos. Sorry. Technical troubles. Okay, we're going to keep rewinding. So from there, once folks clicked on those ads, they were taken to a landing page using the Engaging Networks quiz functionality. They selected meals they're likely to have, and it spit out a personalized meat-free recipe plan for a day. And another really cool feature of this campaign that I want to mention was the Engaging Networks dynamic URL. So each person who takes the quiz receives a unique URL to their quiz results, to their recipes, so that they can come back and visit those recipes really easily anytime they want. All right, enough about 2022. How did we transform the campaign and make it into something that makes sense for 2025? Well, of course, you always want to keep what's working well. The Engaging Networks quiz mechanism and the dynamic URL results made it a really smooth user experience. We also put a lot of effort into having a very diverse range of recipes to be as inclusive as possible. But our new game plan We needed to meet the moment. What does that mean? Well, we looked to make our campaign more relevant by leveraging some trending topics. We were listening, we heard the conversations and concerns that our communities were having and sharing. That's a lot of jumbly words. What does that mean? What does that look like? Elbows up, babes. Let's go back to March just for a minute. I know you're tired of this. We'll just spend like quick few seconds here. Think about March. You've heard the word tariff so many times, it has lost all meaning. You recently learned who Mark Carney is, and you've been feeling nationalistic for maybe the first time ever. It's a weird time. So you're probably wondering now, okay, what's she on about? What does elbows up have to do with eating less meat? Let me tell y'all. All right, so it's probably starting to come together as you see these creatives. Guess which one, you don't really need to guess. Guess which one of these video assets was the top performer of our campaign? Yes, the one on the left. Don't really need to spend a lot of time on that, I don't think, but that's because we met the moment. We touched grass. We thought about what matters to our audience, and we met them there. And really, these results speak for themselves. With this Buy Canadian asset, we were able to bring the cost per click and cost per lead down to the numbers you see here. But what I think is more important to mention is that that Buy Local video brought in around 15 times more leads than all other creatives at the lowest cost per lead of $4.52. And that was $1 to $3 less than all the other creatives. So what's next for Plan Meatless Better? I love me some Alexis. We're gonna be relaunching the campaign, an even better, more optimized version this fall. So what's in store? Again, keep what worked. If you take away a lesson, please let it be that. Keep what's working and build on it always. So here's a little sneak peek of what's coming. We're gonna keep that Engaging Networks quiz mechanism, the dynamic URL results, of course. We're keeping that variety of recipes, and we're gonna keep that elbows up vibe because it's working. And I think we're still in a place where that makes sense. So as Mads Mitch, if any of you follow Mads Mitch on TikTok, as Mads Mitch says, I'm not here to apologize, I'm here to double down. We're gonna double down from grocery store shop-alongs to expert influencer content. We're buying Canadian, and we're gonna make it delicious, healthy, and family-friendly. That's all. Happy to take your questions.
That was great. Just a reminder, folks, please put your questions in the Whova app if you have them. So we do have a question. What engagement KPIs are you tracking? Are there any that you have identified as early indicators to a leads conversion to donation or advocacy action? Yeah.
That's a big question. Thank you for that. Yeah, if I could see it, thank you. As a reference point, great. In terms of engagement KPIs that we're tracking, I think likely all the usual, like I don't want to, not a professor. I think we're all in this room because we know what we would usually want to track in terms of engagement. We're looking at click, we're looking at, I guess it depends what your goal is. Are there any that you have identified as early indicators to leads conversion? So I think maybe I'm not fully understanding the question. I think we're looking for, are people clicking on the ad? We need to know if they're clicking on the ad because that's step one. We need to be able to bring them in. So that's the first thing that I'm gonna be looking for is the creative resonating? Are people clicking on it? And if they are clicking on it and we're getting that first goal achieved by getting people to our landing page, then I'm gonna look at how is the landing page performing? Are people doing the action we want them to on that landing page? Are they taking the quiz? If they're not, then we might want to look at the landing page and see, maybe is the button to take the quiz too far down? Are people losing interest? Is the copy not compelling enough? So I think there's a lot that we can play with on the landing page. And then once people are taking that quiz, I think we can start to look at, the next step in the journey. Are they clicking that URL in the email? Are they revisiting their dynamic URL? How often are they doing that? Are they opening the rest of the emails in the journey? And then I think from there, looking at donor conversion, for us, that's been more of a longer term journey. And we're still in the process of sort of really understanding how do we determine the value of these leads in a variety of ways. So I think that would be kind of the next stage. If they've clicked the ads, they're converting on the landing page, then we would look at, are they opening the emails? Are they donating? Are they taking additional actions? Are they still engaged? Who's unsubscribed? How many people? How do we reach those folks again? Maybe with a future campaign, we build an audience to reach those folks. I hope that answers the question. I feel like I did a roundabout way of answering that, but hopefully that's helpful.
Hey. Okay. Oh, a couple more questions have come in. Great. All righty, next question. What demographics were most successful for you?
Great question. So we usually do a mix with our demographic targeting. We tend to do some interest-based targeting. Those have been really successful for us over the last couple of years. Prior to that, we saw more success with lookalikes, but those have been decreasing in reach for a little while. So a lot of interest-based, and then we do sometimes target campaigner audiences. I think with this one specifically, it was that interest-based, like food interest audience that performed the best.
Can you speak in more detail about how you used the quiz and dynamic URL functionality? What worked well, and were there any challenges?
Yes and no. I will admit, I did not set up the dynamic URL myself because we have such a great team of experts, and that's not my area of expertise. But as far as I know, I think it was fairly straightforward setting it up. I think if that's your skill set, then it's fairly straightforward to set it up. And I don't think we ran into any challenges. Nothing came across my inbox about any challenges, so I feel like it was pretty good to go.
I mean, I don't know exactly how you used it, but yeah, I believe it's built in. I don't know if anyone from the principals team wants to give more detail on how that was built out. Armand?
So we just passed it on through the URL, but happy to share.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
sure. It sounds like an interesting way to approach that.
Okay, principals, you guys put me on the spot. Thanks.
All right, we have time for a few more, so we'll keep going. Any learnings of things that did not work, creative or copy framing, that you will not be keeping as you move into your next phase?
That's a really good one. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I think one of the big learnings was that we need to shift away from the climate change messaging. And I know that feels silly because like the world's on fire every day. Things are on fire, and you'd think that that would make it a more compelling way in. But with social media platforms blocking climate change messaging, we've had ads get rejected or just get zero reach when we use climate change language. So that's one reason we moved away from it. And I think we've also learned through a lot of our brand research that people want to feel hope. They really do. And so I think just constantly kind of berating people with the same messages of doom, we realize is not working well. So a lot of our lead gens over the last couple of years have shifted to be more fun and positive. We had the personality quiz lead gen that Zach and I presented on last year. So we're really trying to shift into making things a little bit more fun and engaging. So moving away from the doom, the climate change. I think too with the creative, the stop motion creative is so cool and I love it so much. And I think social media changes so rapidly that I don't know that it would have been the best choice for 2025. I think it was amazing in 2022. And I think we have to be willing to do what's trending to, again, meet the moment. We have to meet people where they are. And so if they want text over B-roll videos, I'm going to give it to them.
Okay. Couple more. Did you track how many of these leads eventually converted to donors? If yes, what was the conversion rate?
I don't have a number for you today. We've run the campaign a couple times now. So we ran it first in January this year, January, February. We just ran it again in April, and we are going to relaunch in the fall. So we're kind of still figuring out what that conversion rate is. We do know that the folks we bring in on lead gens do take more time to convert. So unless we do have, once people do the action, they go to a thank you page that has a donation form right on it. So we do see a significant number of conversions there. But we also know that if people aren't donating there, it might take them a while to donate after that. So maybe a couple months. So we're really focused on trying to keep those people in our community, keep them on our email list. So long way of saying, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to that today, but maybe follow up with me like early next year and I'll do my best.
Sounds good. Okay, what led the team to approach this lead generation topic? How did you guys select it?
Yeah, so thinking way back to like 2021 timing, we really wanted to find a way to, like I said, measure that behavior change. We know that more and more people are eating less meat, but at the same time, people who eat meat are still eating a lot of it. So we really wanted to find a way to kind of measure and I guess a benchmark where things are at in Canada, how many people truly are eating less meat, and can we convince them to eat less meat if we're only asking them to do it for one day and doing everything we can to make it as super duper easy as possible. So the goal really did start out as a purely behavior change campaign, which is why the 2022 numbers were significantly higher than I think any of us would want with a lead gen campaign. But truly the goal was purely behavior change. And then this year we just really saw an opportunity with the conversations that were happening to optimize it and bring it into this like elbows up, buy Canadian, eat local, eat some soybeans and lentils sort of vibe.
Nice. I love that as a vegetarian myself. Big fan of that campaign. Which platform did you see the most success in terms of generating leads? And what was the duration of the campaign?
Yeah, so I think obvious answer is Meta. It's always Meta, right? We did test it on Pinterest as well. And I would say we're still kind of figuring out how to make Pinterest work for us. As an animal welfare charity, of course, people on Pinterest don't want to see images of animals suffering. We know that for sure. So just trying to figure out a way to make the campaign work on Pinterest where we're not competing against, these huge recipe creators. So Pinterest was a trial run and it was okay. But Meta is, of course, where we shine and where we thrive. Sorry, I feel like there was a part 2 to that.
I already checked it off.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
Let me dig in my memory. No, I don't. Oh, thank you. The duration, thank you. Yes. So this year, it was about a month in January, February, and then another month in April. And then this fall, we're also going to be launching it for another 4 or 5 weeks.
Great. Okay, we have time for one more, and I think people want to know, what's your favorite coffee brand for espresso, whole beans, or pre-grind?
Always whole beans, always. Grind them yourself. You have to dial in. If you don't have a timed scale, get on that. You definitely need one. And my favorite, I really love DeMello. My husband would disagree with me, but I love DeMello. It's so good every time, every bag. Dancing Goats, if you just want a classic, well-rounded, everybody loves it, get Dancing Goats. If you want to try something more interesting, I just had the Sakura blend. Also delicious. It's lighter, fruitier. Anyway, yeah, I do know a lot about espresso, so If that's your jam, let's chat. I know way too much from my husband and YouTube, so happy to talk coffee.
I love it. Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause.